Good day, everyone. My name is Crystal from Morbantic from PFED 021018, and today we will going to tackle about the newspaper, the importance of the newspaper, and also the newspaper law that can protect and guarantee our readers, not just our readers, but also our readers. But first, let us have discussion about the newspaper. When we say newspaper, is a serial publication which contains news and current events that distribute to our readers, and also it gives information and opinion about current events and indicate also the news, not just our news but also uh, information regarding what happening in our society. And newspaper is spread daily news. It gives broad knowledge and information about our country, and also it play a vital part or vital role in our society. It gives a function as a tool to molding ideas, and not just ideas but also protecting the um, information that indicate and established by the public. And also we will going to discuss the newspaper law. When we say newspaper law, it's a collection of rules established by the government and protect and guarantee that the distribution of news and information that not biased or not just damaged by everyone. And also um, newspaper law is help and improve, not just improve but also inform people about what are going to a specific situation. And also the importance also the newspaper law is to um, protect the readers, and also uh, the our readers, not just the readers but also the writer of the newspaper. Republic Act Number 53 was also known as the Soto's Law. It is an act of accepting the publisher, editor, and reporter of any publication from revealing the source of publisher news and information obtained in confidence. And also the Soto's Law is a to protect journalists from being compelled to reveal their news source, especially to the journalists. There are importance that they are the sources of their news. It's confidential, so they are not going to broadcast any source of their news. And also the Soto's Law was the main author of the uh, press freedom law, all known as Soto's Law Republic Act Number 50, and tapped in it it's na 1946. And also the Soto's Law protect journalists from being uh, named their news by sources. And also it's also obtained that the publisher, editor, and the reporter of any publication from revealing the source of publishing news and information obtained in confidence. And also we need to uh, news or we need to provide all the news in a confidence way. Republic Act Number 463, any person who publics, exhibit, or causes the publishing or the exhibition of any declamation is written or by similar method of liable for it. It's no criminal action for declamation which consists in a imputation of crime which cannot be prosecuted to instance of any file of confidential party. And the author or the editor of the book, or the editor or the business manager of a daily news magazine or the serial publication, it's liable for defamation. When we say defamation, it's normally thought as an act which can attract civil liability, prescribed as a maximum penalty of 3 years imprisonment of for any one who or without lawful excuse or public a matter defamation or another living in a person, and also Republic Act number 463 is a preliminary investigation of a criminal action for written defamation as provided for the chapter shall be conducted by the provincial or the city fiscal of the provincial or the province or in the province or in the city where you are located, and also by the municipal court or of the city of the or the capital of the province. Person responsibility in this act is any person who shall publish, exhibit, or cause the publication or exhibition of any declamation in written by a similar means shall be responsible for the same action. In the section 2, and any section of this section of this act shall be declared unconstitutionally or invalid, or this section 2 is invalid, it shall not be indicated by the other section. And also in the section number 3, this act shall be a take away only it when within 30 days from its approval. So this act or this is a law that can valid as a 30 days from its approval to release the newspaper. And also the newspapermen in the Philippines shall organize and elect the members of it, and also a Philippine council. It's a private agency. It's a private sector or the private um, agency who um, indicate that the code of ethics of the Philippine press is um, investigates violence of it. It can be organized of its members shall be duly elected and accordance, which is proclaimed by the President of the Philippines. And this act um, approved by June 19, 1965.
False information have been spread out all over the country. This has been relevant since people are getting more curious and some have teased issues and in Filipino is called chismis. A pleasant day everyone. My name is Rochelle G. Menente and now we are going to talk about defamation, slander, and most certainly libel. So let us define first what is defamation. So when we say defamation, it is any statement that damages the reputation of another individual or party. Laws governing defamation aims to compensate those people whose character have been damaged due to false information or malicious statement. So I will give one example or scenario of a problem regarding defamation. Cassie and Marga are enemies. So Marga came to the restaurant of Cassie and accused them about food poisoning even though it is not the restaurant's fault that caused her to be ill. If Marga shared this false information with other customers, then the owner of the restaurant, who is Cassie, can file a libel lawsuit, defamation. So another thing, what if Marga shares those false information with other customers orally or through speaking with other customers? So it is still a defamation under its type, slander. Because when we say slander, it is a sharing false information with other people through speaking or through oral. What if Marga shares this false information with other customers through publishing, printing, or writing? So this is a defamation under its type, libel. So when we say libel, according to the Article 252 of the Revised Penal Code, a libel is defined as a public or malicious imputation that damages the reputation of a certain people about its crime, defect, or a vice of a natural or juridical person. So, another thing or another scenario, what if Marga just share a review or opinion about the restaurant of Cassie. Like for example, she says that the quality of the food or the service is not good, and she shares it with other customers. Do you, and in this statement, she is correct or she is telling the truth. Do you think it can be still called a libel or a slander or a defamation? The answer is no. Because a defamation, a slander, or a libel is only talking about when you spread a false information. If others just say it in a true statement, it cannot be called a defamation at all. To win a libel lawsuit, a private person has to prove that a publisher acted negligently. Negligence means even if he didn't know that the information was false, still he didn't do his responsibility, because as a writer, a publisher, it is their responsibility to know what is the truthest statement before they publish certain statements. So what are the libel defense? First is truth. Remember that it is hard to prove truth, especially if you don't have evidences. Second is fair comment. So a writer can write anything about someone, for example, celebrity, politician, artist, and so on. But if they write something defamatory, they can be sued. So third is malicious. So when we say malicious, um, even if the writer know that it is false statement, he still chooses to publish it to injure a person's reputation. And lastly is the privilege. So it is a libelous statement usually occur in government proceedings. So it is their privilege and can be quoted even if it is defamatory. The final section of my topic, the advocacy is to help the viewers to understand important matters regarding libel, so that everyone could be able to know their own rights if ever that they experience such things. They can be able to know what they have to do or the actions that they have to execute if ever they experience such things. On the other hand, it also reminds us that we must be careful for all the things that we are going to say or for every content that we are going to write, publish, or print, because there is a punishment regarding that matters. And of course, to have a peaceful environment and to raise human rights and equality through spreading what is right.
Now, let us move on to the style guides in writing news article or newspaper. Number 1 is punctuation marks. Punctuation marks seal our writing with silent intonation. We pause, we stop, we emphasize or question using a comma, a period, an exclamation point, or a question mark. Correct punctuation adds clarity and precision to writing. Having a good grasp of grammar and punctuation is about more than just form. It also helps us to uphold integrity and journalistic ethics. Punctuation, in particular, can radically change the meaning of a sentence. It's important to know punctuation marks because depending on how they are used by the writer, they can change the tone, the meaning of the sentences that we read. If you don't have punctuation marks, the sentence might go on and on if the readers don't know where to stop. Now, here are the common punctuation mistakes and how to avoid them. Even if people can't pinpoint your mistake, something will look off about your message, making people less likely to trust what you're trying to say. It's always best to check your writing for common punctuation mistakes so you don't inadvertently alienate those who will be reading your material. Number 1 common punctuation mistakes is The next topic in styling guides is abbreviation. Abbreviation simply means a shortened form of a word or phrase. The abbreviated form of the word abbreviation is, or less commonly, abbreviation comes from the Latin word brevis, meaning short. Abbreviations may be used to save space and time and to avoid repetition, or simply to conform to conventional usage. The styling of abbreviations is inconsistent and arbitrary, and it includes many possible variations. Examples of abbreviations:
Good day everyone, I am Angeline Pastoral, and for today I'm going to give you a brief information about styling guide, and it is specifically in capitalization and syllabication. So capitalization is not a punctuation, but it does have an important role in writing an article, a news, or even in our literary works. So before we proceed, I'm going to give you a sample that has errors. So take a look at it and look for the errors. So, looking at the sample, you can see that there are a lot of errors, and it is usually in the form of capital letters. This type of errors are usually committed by the writer that doesn't have a knowledge on when and how to use the capital letters. So, if we are going to write an article, a news, or other forms of literary works, it is a must for us to know when and how to use. That's why we have styling guide. So, first, if we're going to write an article, our first sentence, the word in our sentence, the first word in our sentence always begins with a capital letter. And then, the word after a period always begins with a capital letter. And there are also other forms of words that is needed to be written in a capital letter, like the names of a person, a place, and others. For example, my name, Angeline. So it is a must for a writer to write my name in a capital letter, to begin my name with a capital letter. The days, from Monday to Sunday, it is the word Monday to Sunday begins with a capital letter. From January to December, always begins with a capital letter. But, however, if we are referring to a season like summer, it is not needed for us to write it in capital letter. Another thing, the language. All nationalities or all the countries have its language. So it is important for us that we should write it in a capital letter. Like English, it always begins with a capital letter. Here in the Philippines, we have Filipino. So it is right for us, or it is a must for us to write it in a capital letter. But, however, there is a boundary with that. If we are referring to the word French fries, it does not necessarily mean French fries is, we are referring to the French, but, to the French, but it is a food, so it is not needed for us to write it in a capital letter. So, the historical events in our country or in the world, like the Civil War, World War II, and the eras, it is usually written in a capital letter. Another thing, when we are referring to the religious term, like God always begins with a capital letter. But, however, the goddess of the Greek mythology, like Athena and Zeus, If there are goddesses, goddesses is not written in a capital letter. It is only in a lowercase form. And the ethnic and the nationality of a person. So if we are referring to an ethnic group, like here in the Philippines, where we have lots of ethnic group, Aitap, the Ifugaos. So it is a must for us to write it in a capital letter. The title of a book, a poem, or other forms of literary works, it is written in a capital letter. Like for example, I was terrified by the silence of the lambs. The Round Tower was written by Catherine Cookson. The first word of a direct quotation repeating someone else's exact word is always capitalized if the quotation is a complete sentence. Like this one. Thomas Edison famously observed, genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. So, the quotation there is genius is 1% inspiration and then 99% perspiration. Those words in the quotation is another form of a sentence or another complete sentence. That is why it is written in a capital letter. The Roman numerals. So we have the I, V, L, X, M, and such. It is always written in a capital letter. And then another thing, the pronoun. We have I, she. I usually, it is a must for us to write it in a capital letter, the word I. But there is also a boundary to that, the word she, he. If she and he is in the first part of the sentence or the first word of a sentence, then we are going to write it in a capital letter. Syllabication or the hyphen. Before we proceed to the rules on how are we going to avoid errors, I'm going to show you another sample where a hyphen is misused. So as you can see, there are words or a lot of words. Maybe you have already did this. So in order for you to avoid this, you should know the rules or the guide on how to use hyphen. Before that, what is hyphen? Hyphen is a mark that joins words or parts of a word and is placed directly between letters, and it has no space. Always remember that it has no space. Hyphen is used at the end of a line to divide a word where there is no enough space, like when we are writing our sentence in a paragraph. So if the last word is not enough, if we're going to reach the margin, we need to use the hyphen, the hyphen mark, so we could put another part of the word in the next line. So a hyphen, it does not divide a word between syllables if only one letter remains alone. Like the word demanded. If it's demanded written in the last part of the line, and the only thing that is being left is the word D. So it is not right for you to write a hyphen and then put the letter D in the next line. So you should put the whole word, the word demanded, in the next line. And then always divide hyphenated compound word at a hyphen. And divide compound words between the words that form the compound. Another, use hyphen to indicate a word spelled out letter by letter. So, like for example, if we're going to spell hello, H dash E dash N dash L dash O. If we are spelling, if we're doing spelling a word, and then use a hyphen to avoid awkward doubling of a vowels. So re-elect. We don't need to use we should use a hyphen after re, because it is very awkward to see, or to see a word where there's no hyphen and the vowels is, continuous. A vowel is another vowel after another vowel with the same letter. So re-elect. Semi-independence. And because if there's no hyphen, semi-independence, we're going semi, like that. So it is very awkward to read a word without a hyphen. And then use hyphen to join a prefix to a capitalized word. An American, an Filipino, just like that. And then pre-Christmas, post-Christmas party, just like that. Always use hyphen with the prefixes all, X, and self. Self-worth, self-righteous, like that. Use hyphen to indicate stammering or sobbing. This is usually written in a script. So if we're going to act and then we're going to read the script, all the sobbing words, it is written there, and it has a hyphen. Hyphen is just a dash, a line, but it does have an important role in creating an article, our news article, and in our literary works. So it will make our works most presentable and more readable. That's all.
Good day, everyone. I am Grace Omato, and I will be the last that will report our topic and let us discuss the use of figures. A graphical or visual presentation is aesthetically pleasing in the eyes of the readers, even the viewers. Figures draw the reader's attention and help them to comprehend the information more thoroughly. This visual supplement written ideas, assist in clarifying complex textual descriptions. The first one is a graph. These are graphical presentations that employ charts and diagrams to graphically show, analyze, clarify, and interpret numerical data functions and other qualitative structures. The primary goal of a graphic display is to entertain the readers and also to transmit the information. The second one is a photo or photograph. It is taken by a camera, digital camera, or a photocopier of a picture or a drawing, painting, or artwork created on a computer. In newspapers, the photographs increase the credibility of the story or information for the fact that it provides evidence to prove the authenticity of a news story or give proof of an event that occurred. And that's all. Thank you so much for watching our group video.